Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I don't know, maybe because of the change of timings and cancellations, I think our attendance is very thin today. But anyway, we'll be putting up the recording in the YouTube later on. So let us proceed with our session. So today's session is entitled Free to Preach at Last. Prabhupada has come to America. We know he went to Butler, Pennsylvania. Then he came to New York. He stayed with Ramurthy Mishra. And all this time, he was not completely free to do what he wanted to do. So now we will see how finally Prabhupada is freed by the Lord's arrangement to start preaching the way he wants to preach. And then the audience start coming to him. The audience start coming to him. You will see how those who are coming earlier, they slowly leave and a new set of audience come. And every time some audience come, through them Prabhupada gets some benefit, and obviously they get benefit from Prabhupada. And then a new set will replace them. So now we will see how one set is getting replaced by another. The whole thing is so very exciting because Krishna is orchestrating everything from the background. How Krishna orchestrates the life of a pure devotee is something that becomes very visible to us through this session. So now Prabhupada is going to move to Bowery. He is not yet in Bowery. He is now in what is called Uptown New York. You will remember he was initially in 501 room, which is owned by Ramurthy Mishra for his yoga studio purpose, where they teach Hatha Yoga. And in 501 itself was a very simple room without any facilities, no windows, nothing. And for bathing and everything, cooking, everything, Prabhupada had to depend on that other studio where Ramurthy Mishra lived. Every day Prabhupada would go there and come. But he would sleep here and he would do his translation work here, non-stop. Whether it is day or night, you cannot see from that room because it has no windows. So nothing you will see. But Prabhupada was absorbed in his mission of translating the scripture. So that's how life went there. And suddenly, what happened was, from that room, he shifted to 307. So 307 is the same building, third floor. And here, he is no longer dependent on Ramurthy Mishra. While Prabhupada was in 501, Ramurthy Mishra used to supply at least some provisions, some facilities for Prabhupada. So financially, there was some support from Ramurthy Mishra as his guest. Now Prabhupada is no longer the guest of Ramurthy Mishra. He has now decided to strike out on his own. In the room number 307, he is a rent-paying tenant. And he has to pay rent out of his own independent income. So effectively, from now onwards, Prabhupada has thrown his lots with Krishna. Krishna, you maintain me or you kill me. I am surrendered to you. Because how he can pay rent unless money comes? And how his money is coming? As a 70-year-old man, he's not working anywhere, nor he's having a, working visa or something. He's simply here on the generosity of people. That's all. But somehow he has boldly taken a room on rent, and he's earning by selling his books, Bhagavatam sets, at a price of $16.50 for one set. And with that, he's maintaining himself. And that should help him to maintain himself until he has some source of regular income, which he doesn't know when it will come. So Prabhupada is now like that. And immediately he becomes happy because he is never worried about himself. If he was worried about himself, he would have remained in Vrindavan. But that was never his concern. He knew Krishna maintains the whole world. Krishna maintains the elephant and the ant. Every living entity in the world is dependent on Krishna, whether they know it or not. Krishna can kill us in unlimited number of ways, every moment. Right? Same way Krishna can maintain us also. Just as Krishna can kill us if he wants, Krishna can maintain us also. With that complete confidence and a sense of surrender to Krishna, Srila Prabhupada has come to America. So now he's not here for any of his personal benefits. So any of these risks don't matter to Srila Prabhupada. His only aim is, I came to preach and I wanted that freedom. Now Prabhupada has gained that freedom. His cherished goal of coming to America to preach freely. And someone had gifted to Srila Prabhupada one reel-to-reel recorder, those big type of recorders. And Prabhupada would use it, and every day he would give classes, and he would give kirtans, bhajans, and he would record them, whether there is an audience or not. And he would hear for himself. This is something his Guru Maharaj also told, to perfect yourself, you go on preaching to the walls. If there is no audience, preach to the walls. That is what his Guru Maharaj had told. And Prabhupada knew, wherever Krishna Katha is spoken, who is present? Can anybody tell me?
Narada Muni.
Yes?
Narada Muni.
Narada Muni, 100% he is there. Then?
Krishna is
also present.
Yes. Lord Shiva is the Vaishnava Namayata Shambhu. He is present. And Prabhupada also said Yamaraj is present. Yamaraj takes note, this person has come for Krishna Katha, then none of his assistants will touch you. when a devotee dies, then they are taken care, especially by Krishna, and Yamaraj's assistants don't approach them. So Prabhupada knows that I am not speaking to walls, I am speaking to an audience. Whether there is a human audience is there or not, a transcendental audience is always there. So that way, Prabhupada was starting to do his preaching in 307. And earlier preaching of Prabhupada, every time it would be a different audience, go to different places, go to some school, some college, some institution, some trust or NGO. Like that, Prabhupada would go and give a class and come back. And Prabhupada was not satisfied because people should hear ongoing basis, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Daily you should hear Katha, and then only transformations can come faster. Otherwise, it will go and sit in your head. It will not work maybe for a long time, like a time bomb. You receive the information now, but your heart is not sufficiently plowed. You drop a seed and the heart is not sufficiently plowed, it cannot sprout immediately, right? So in a similar way, so Prabhupada wanted to have a place for himself. If you recollect, this was the reason why Prabhupada wanted to have a temple. Prabhupada wanted to have a temple, and he was trying so hard with J.K. Singhania, he was trying with Sumati Murarji, he was trying with Tirtha Maharaj, he was trying with all his contacts, he was trying through the government to get some support so that he can buy one property and convert into a temple, not for a temple purpose. The purpose is to preach to people, to bring them to one place where they know there is a regular class. Morning and evening there is class, and there can be deity worship, which can be arranged later on. Some brahmacharis can come from India and they can maintain the worship and all. But main purpose is to have a fixed place where preaching can take place, and then the books can come, books can be distributed. So he wanted a fixed place that he has got now. But don't think it's any grand place, that room number 307. So Satsrup Maharaj describes it as a rail car, like a goods train, one compartment. It is like that. Completely bare. Completely bare. Even there, you don't have proper toilets and kitchen, nothing. It is just one longish room with bare floors. There is absolutely nothing there. And there, Prabhupada puts his trunk, and that trunk becomes his support for typing his messages and also to speak to the audience. It becomes a table in front of him. He sits behind that and he speaks. And he puts his shawl or something on the floor and he sleeps like that. On the floor only he sleeps. There is absolutely no furniture in that room. So it is poverty personified. There is a dim bulb burning, and people, it's a narrow, long room. So Prabhupada is sitting one side, and the room is, when more people come, the room gets completely congested. It is in that room where Prabhupada's initial classes started. But the first audience who came, they were all people he had picked up in Ramamurthy Mishra's studio only. So they have been undergoing some Mayavadi teaching so far, but they became attracted to Prabhupada, So Mayavadis, they may not wear anything on their forehead at all, Bare. Most of them. So here Prabhupada is wearing a tilak, a very nice, tilak on his forehead. And Prabhupada is always talking about God as a person. So those people who are attracted to him there, they started visiting 307. And they started listening to Srila Prabhupada. So what kind of audience are these? These are basically wealthy people, middle class and upper. Because even the place where Prabhupada is living, it's uptown New York. Ordinary poor people cannot live here. They cannot afford to pay rentals and live here. Even the place where Prabhupada is taken, it's not a place where anybody can live, or as Sasuru Maharaj says, you cannot live there. It's not a house. It is not a temple. It's not a preaching hall. It is none of these things. It is simply a kind of a godown. That's all, which Prabhupada has converted into his residence. So, but still, despite that abject poverty of that place, these uptown people were coming. They were attracted by Prabhupada's preaching. And so they were wealthy people who were coming. So now we will see what kind of class Prabhupada is giving to these people. Now, because Prabhupada is on his own, he has started telling them what he always wanted to tell them. Yeah. So now we can see what Prabhupada is teaching them. This opportunity that he has got, how he is trying to utilize that. So I will give you just a small sample, which is so very amazing. The uh, challenges of preaching from scratch to a population who don't know anything about the Indian culture, Indian spirituality. They don't know about Krishna. How, from where Prabhupada will start and how he will develop faith in them. So we will see. See, in one class, he is talking about. This is reading Prabhupada's words. Now Arjuna is perplexed. He is perplexed about whether to fight or not to fight. After seeing in front of him his relatives with whom he was to fight, he was perplexed. And there was some argument with Krishna. Now suddenly, two names are here, Arjuna and Krishna. Prabhupada was told there is a battlefield and there is a war happening, and here Arjuna has to fight, and he finds all his relatives, etc., and he is perplexed, and he is now turning to Krishna. Then Prabhupada says, now here is a point. Because now he cannot proceed further. Now here is a point. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Just imagine. Prabhupada is sitting, and in front of him, all these uptown audience are sitting. They know nothing. And to them, Prabhupada is telling Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Neither they know what is supreme personality, Godhead, nor do they know Krishna. So Prabhupada's voice is earnest. Now, Satsuru Goswami's comments are here. Prabhupada's voice is earnest, persuading. Sometimes his speech becomes high-pitched and breaks with urgency. There is anxiety. How I am going to communicate to them? How they are going to understand? I am becoming old. I don't know when I will die. Before that, I must create at least one pure devotee who will carry on this process. So that urgency uncontrollably comes out. Then voice becomes high-pitched. And Prabhupada is trying to, and he's speaking in a heavy Bengali accent. He's speaking very nice British English in America, but with a heavy Bengali accent. Look at the challenges in front of him. And suddenly Prabhupada is stopping his lecture and he is talking to someone in the room. Prabhupada says, what is that? That person says, what? Prabhupada says, what is that book? That man says, well, this is a translation of Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada is not happy because he wants them to listen to what he is speaking. So Prabhupada says, no, you can hear me. That person says, I am hearing. Prabhupada says, yes, don't turn your attention, just hear me. Now, Satsuru Maharaj's comments are here. He's saying he is taking the role of a teacher in correcting a student. But this person sitting in front of him is not a student. He's just a casual visitor, just trying to collect some information. He's not saying Prabhupada as a teacher. He is just trying. You understand not the difference between sitting in front of a teacher and learning. Realizing that your life depends on him. Life depends on your understanding what he's teaching to you. Such a heavy subject matter. But here that mood is not there. That mood will come gradually when they realize what is the heaviness of a guru, spiritual master. So now, so Prabhupada is in one sense ordering him, just hear me. So Sasur Maharaj says, actually it's not so. He's begging him. Because unless you become attentive, you will not observe this. Unless you have a relationship with the speaker as a, as a guru and disciple. So Prabhupada is saying, he's simply begging for attention. Then Prabhupada continues. Now the topic is coming to spiritual master. Prabhupada says, you have heard that one must accept the spiritual master after careful examination. Prabhupada is saying, just as one selects a bride or a bridegroom after careful examination. Then Prabhupada realizes in America it doesn't happen. So Prabhupada changes tack. He says in India, they are very careful because marriage of boys and girls take place under guidance of parents. So parents take great care. Then similarly, one has to accept a spiritual master. And it is necessary according to Vedic injunctions. Now they don't know what is Vedas, but Prabhupada is speaking Vedic injunctions. Everyone should have a spiritual master. Then Prabhupada goes, perhaps you have seen a sacred thread. They are looking blank. Perhaps you have seen a sacred thread. We have got a sacred thread. Prabhupada is touching under his kurta, there is a sacred thread. And he says, we have got a sacred thread. He's telling among the audience, Mr. Cohen, this place, he knows Cohen for some time, if you recollect. So he's telling Cohen, have you seen sacred thread? Everybody is looking blank. Then Prabhupada goes on further to explain. For thousands of years, Brahmanas in India have worn such threads placed across the body. And it shows that you have a guru, that you have accepted a guru, and you have accepted a Gayatri mantra, and you are chanting that. So Prabhupada is trying to explain these things. Prabhupada himself is exotic to these people, and Prabhupada is expressing these such rare things, rituals in India. How will they understand? But Prabhupada has to do this to somehow bring them around to accept the need for a spiritual master. So they are all sitting and listening to him. In their hearts, they understand that this man knows what he is talking about. He is really grave and serious and he's speaking with authority. But still, how it will sink into them, they don't know what is being spoken about. Then Prabhupada says, sacred thread is a sign that a person has a spiritual master. Then Prabhupada further explains, just like in the case of a woman, if she is married, she will wear a red tilak on her forehead. That will indicate that she is married. Then he further explains about the parting, in the hair of a woman. If parting is in the center, that means she's a chaste woman and a married person. But if it is in the side, Prabhupada is showing by his hand, then it means she's not of good character. All these things are, from the audience point of view, just some information about Indian way of life. But Prabhupada has a deeper motive behind all these things. He wants to bring them around to the fact that how every aspect of life is so very important. And they are all scientifically designed in the culture of India. And everything has a basis behind it. Prabhupada says, similarly, a widow in India, she has a different kind of dress. Like that, Prabhupada is continuing to impress them. The need to take a spiritual master. So actually, another thing here, Satsuru Maharaj says, Prabhupada has no motive but to present the absolute truth as he has heard in disciplic succession. Prabhupada is not trying to compromise so that they will understand something. Ultimately, it will become a Mayavadi philosophy. If you want them to somehow accept some transcendental reality, at best you can give them, okay, there is a transcendental reality. It has no form, no qualities, no name, nothing like that. The Prabhupada has not come to do that. Prabhupada has come to give the absolute truth to these people. So there is a huge struggle. So Prabhupada is again saying that one should surrender to a spiritual master. Then these are very heavy topics, is it not? To a new audience, Prabhupada is saying, In every step of one's life, the spiritual master guides. Now, to give such guidance, a spiritual master should also be a very perfect man. Otherwise, how can he guide? Now, here Arjuna knows that Krishna is the perfect person. So, therefore, he is accepting him. Sishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. Suddenly, Prabhupada is quoting Sanskrit from Bhagavad Gita. Again, to the audience, it means nothing, but Prabhupada doesn't care because it is the culture of India, of spiritual people, to speak with a Vedic authority. I cannot speak what I feel and think, however logically advanced and brilliant I might be. I have to only speak from the scriptures. Otherwise, my words carry no value at all. So Prabhupada is quoting Sanskrit. And then Prabhupada is telling how Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna. And then Prabhupada says, one should be very careful in the choice of a spiritual master. Then one student is saying, but we are coming to the spiritual master in ignorance only. So Prabhupada appreciates that question. Yeah, you are in ignorance. So how you will identify the right spiritual master? Then Prabhupada explains. So you cannot go to buy a jewelry in a cloth shop. You should know where to go. So that much curiosity should be there in the student. That is the qualification of a student. So Prabhupada is giving this shloka. Tadvijnanartam sagurumeva bhikachet samitpanihi shrotriyam brahmanishtam. From the Upanishads, Prabhupada is quoting. If you want to know the truth, then you should go to a person who has already realized the truth, and you should go to him humbly with a mood to serve him and to ask questions. Prabhupada is giving this example. And one should search after a spiritual master if one is inquisitive about transcendental subject matters. So that means only a person who has the necessary qualification can approach a spiritual master. So the student is satisfied with Prabhupada's answer. That means at least I should have a sincere curiosity to seek the answers in my heart. Then I will go to the right guru automatically. Rather, if I go to someone just to solve my material problems, then I will be cheated. He will say, yes, I will get you a nice bride, or I'll give you a nice job, I'll give you a lot of wealth, and you will be misled. But if you have the right curiosity, sincerity, then the guru will come to you. So, like that, Prabhupada is talking. So, like this, there's a lot of nice examples of interactions between Prabhupada. So, at one place, Prabhupada says, the real meaning of going to a sacred place in India. The sacred place you go to see the spiritual master or advanced saintly people who are living there and to get their advice. You don't go there simply to take a sacred bath and to look at some deity and offer some worship. You actually go there. Then Prabhupada is talking about his residence in Vrindavan. So at Vrindavan, there are many big scholars and saintly persons. So one should go to such places, not simply to take bath in the water. One must be intelligent enough to find some spiritually advanced man living there and take instructions from him. Then one lady has heard sacred as secret. So she is talking in the places known as secret places. Prabhupada is telling sacred, yes. Oh, it is sacred, then she is satisfied. Then she says, yes, there is certainly a need because that place contains good vibrations and all. Prabhupada confirms her thinking. And then Prabhupada says, just like Vrindavan, here I am now sitting in New York, the world's greatest city, such a magnificent city, but my heart is always hankering after Vrindavan. I shall be very happy to return to my Vrindavan, that sacred place. But then, why are you here? Prabhupada is asking question to himself. Now, because it is my duty. I have brought some message for you people, because I have been ordered by my superior, my spiritual master. Whatever you have learned, you should go to the Western countries and you must distribute this knowledge. So, in spite of all my difficulties, all my inconveniences, I am here because I am obligated by duty. If I go and sit down in Vrindavan, that will be good for my personal conveniences. I shall be very comfortable there and I will have no anxiety, nothing of the sort. But I have taken all the risk in this old age because I am duty bound. I am duty bound. So I have to execute my duty despite all my inconveniences. Like that, Prabhupada goes on. So this is a sample of the challenges facing Srila Prabhupada as he starts, because now all his audience are like blank slates, or not completely blank, because they have some Mayavadi ideas inside. And they also, they think they can realize God through music, sex, drugs, intoxication, and some casual meditation. This much knowledge is all that they have. So at this time, there is one person, young boy called Robert Nelson comes. He's 20 years old. Prabhupada is 70 years old. Robert Nelson has met him, Prabhupada, in the yoga studio. So he's now coming here. He's a very simple country boy, and he is somehow attracted to Prabhupada. And first thing, Prabhupada gives him one set of his books, $16, and Robert Nelson pays. And he starts serving Prabhupada in different ways. And he's telling him, Prabhupada, you make records, gramophone records, because everybody is making money through records. We can also, he doesn't realize that there will be no market for Prabhupada. Prabhupada also, no, because this boy is so serious and sincere. Prabhupada says, okay, we will go. Together they go. This 20-year boy and 70-year man, they visit various recording studios, and nobody takes interest, and finally they come back. Robert Nelson, very sincere boy, but he cannot really help Prabhupada. He is so innocent, very simple. But then Harvey Cohen, he is also coming to Prabhupada. He is very bright, very influential, and he has a lot of friends. So there is a place called The Paradox, which is a restaurant. So many tables and chairs are there. People are coming all day and going. Some people are sitting there only because they have no business to do. And nobody will be asked to go out in Paradox. Whether you buy something or not, you can sit there simply. So a lot of people are coming there, and especially the young people, who have rejected their home and they're looking for truth. So such people, a lot of people come. And Harvey Cohen speaks to them and tells them, here is a Swamiji, you can come to him. And he is giving classes. Like that, he's quickly spreading the message. And he also meets one Bill Epstein, who is also working in the Paradox. And Bill Epstein is also very handsome, very smart, very dashing boy with interest in spirituality. He visits Prabhupada and he develops interest, and he is also spreading the word. So what is happening now? Suddenly the crowd is picking up in 307. And what kind of crowd? So James Green is another person who visited there. He also goes to Paradox. So James Green started coming regularly to Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita class. And he noticed that more and more people started coming and the room is becoming crowded. And he realized now it is time for Prabhupada to find another place. And what kind of people are coming? So this is what one of them is saying. Swami started picking up a new kind of people. He picked them up from Bauri or some attics, cheap people. They must. Earlier I told you, the uptown audience was different. Older people, retired people, wealthy people, well-settled people, some little curiosity in spirituality. Just, we see in our country also, no? Aged people, they'll just go and sit in some katha, evening time, they'll sit for 1 hour or something, they will come back. Nothing will change in their life, but hearing katha is a pious activity. Like that only that audience was there. But now Prabhupada is getting young people who are really curious to know the truth. And now such people are coming up. So the other group of people don't like them because these are young people, not very polished people, and they can be loud also, but they are full of energy and they are really serious. And such people have started coming regularly. And they startled me. So that means what? The other audience will slowly go away. The new younger people will take over and the older people will disappear gradually. So this is happening there. So David Allen, who was one of those young people, he's telling, we were not hippies at that time, but still we were already strange for the uptown people. So imagine when it's still not full hippie season, more real hippies are going to come. This is only the beginning. Uptown people could not tolerate, but Prabhupada is tolerating them. And he will pick up more and more of very, very downtrodden, fallen hippies Along the way, Prabhupada will pick up. But those others could not tolerate. And this David Allen says, I have seen the uptown teachers, and all their students are like old followers, sometimes wealthy widows. They come and they support the Swamiji, and the Swamiji supports them, and they live like that. But here is Prabhupada changing it completely. He is picking up younger, poorer group of people. They are older, richer people. All the Mayavadi teachers have only that audience. But Prabhupada has come to give God, and God is sending him young people, poor people, really sincere people. They are all coming to Prabhupada. So they are saying, people downtown. Downtown means where downtrodden people live. Uptown means wealthy people live. So downtown really needed him. There was a lot of energy going around because a lot of poor people had rejected home. Actually, they were children of wealthy parents, but they rejected that hypocritic lifestyle, duplicitous lifestyle. They did not want. So they come here, and there's a lot of energy. So now they are asking Prabhupada to shift from 307 also. And so Prabhupada is shifting to Bauri. And Bauri is deep inside the downtown. Bauri means downtown of New York, where alcoholics, addicts, drug addicts, people who have no regular source of income, the rejects of society, they are living there. And Krishna is sending him to that place, to a loft in Bauri. Bauri, actually, all the buildings in Bauri, they are all godowns, earlier godowns, 1 century ago. They were all huge. You can imagine a godown means very tall buildings, very tall, very long buildings, and windows on both sides like that. And what they did in New York later on, when so many people were coming, they converted these uh, godowns into lofts, where they converted into lofts, and they were renting it out to uh, artists. Many musicians were coming to New York. Artists were coming to New York. Excuse me, just one. Hare Krishna. So into that loft, Prabhupada is moving. So loft means because the godown is so high, they will put in the middle, lofts, and people will stay in those lofts. And Prabhupada is staying on the 5th level. You have to climb 5 flights of stairs to reach where Prabhupada is staying. And that belonged to Henry Cohen. And Cohen rented it out to Prabhupada along with David Allen. So they moved there, and Cohen moved out of that place. So that became the new address of Srila Prabhupada. So imagine, to come down, he has to come down 5 flights of stairs and go back again. And when you open the door, you will find, in this picture, like people are lying down. This is actually a picture from Bauri in the 60s. The scene was everywhere, it was like that. And right outside the door of Prabhupada's residence, there would be these, they'll be lying there. They're called bums. They'll be lying fully drunk or stoned with drugs, and they'll be simply lying there, totally unconscious. Some of them will be dead also. You don't know who is unconscious, who is dead. That is the situation. Prabhupada has to walk over them very carefully. Prabhupada still did not complain. He lived there. And Prabhupada says, before he moved to this Bauri, many people told him, don't go there. It's a very dangerous place. And we cannot come there also. And your life will not be safe. And they are not interested in philosophy. They are all criminals. But Prabhupada says, I could not understand the difference between a friend and an enemy. Where he was staying, the security himself burglarized his residence. He took away the typewriter and other things, the security. So Prabhupada says, I don't know. And Prabhupada says, actually, there were so many dangers to my life also, but I don't know. It was just coming and going, and Prabhupada, Krishna was taking care. So finally, that Harvey Cohen. So Prabhupada has moved into his place. And news is spreading in downtown New York. From Paradox also, many downtown people go to Paradox. And also in downtown, news is spreading that there is a Swamiji here. And all the earnest, poor boys and girls are coming. And as it is, Bauri is mainly, the dwelling of musicians and artists. So they all started visiting Prabhupada. And Prabhupada always has a kirtan going. Kirtan, then class, then again kirtan. Like that, this was the Prabhupada system. Question answers. So Prabhupada's session would start at 8 p.m. and would go on till 10 p.m. 8 p.m., half an hour kirtan, then 45 minutes of class, and then question answers, again half an hour of kirtan. Like that, starting and ending kirtan, and in between philosophical discussion. So a lot of these people were coming, and the loft was very large. It can accommodate a lot of people. So compared to 307, now he has got a bigger space, very well ventilated space, and a lot of people were also coming. Every day morning Bhagavatam class, and 3 days a week evening Bhagavad Gita class. Apart from that, he would give cooking classes. He would say, we should cook and offer to Krishna. And he would say, anybody wants to come learn. And many people went to learn also, to learn how to make chapatis, how to make sabjis. Prabhupada would be supervising them, and he would also be preparing simultaneously. Keep remembering, 70-year-old man among teenagers. And they had rejected their own parents, who might have been in their 40s. And now they are connecting to a 70-year-old. Among the hippies, the philosophy was, don't trust anyone who is 30 years plus. That was their philosophy, because they could not trust their own parents. They found hypocrisy, duplicitous life in all of them, but they saw the transparency of Prabhupada. And they literally accepted him as their father or grandfather. They surrendered to him. And despite living in such a horrible atmosphere, Prabhupada's consciousness was not touched. This is Sasaru Goswami's comment. His focus on his duty never changed. He did not become diverted by, the uncertainties around him, by the anxiety about his own maintenance. Nothing disturbed him. Prabhupada continued to focus on his translation work and preaching work. It was going on. And he was always planning ahead, what next, what next. So the surroundings don't affect a person if they are sheltered on Krishna. So Prabhupada is telling to his uptown friends who are expressing anxiety for him, he says, everywhere is my home. And without Krishna, the whole world is a desert. So when I have Krishna as my father, the world is my home. And when I forget Krishna, the world is a desert. There is no place to go, actually. So Prabhupada says, life in Bauri is in the mode of ignorance. But living in a temple of Vishnu is transcendental. So the loft where Prabhupada is living is actually transcendental. Among a completely ignorant desert-like place, Prabhupada has created an amazing transcendental place. And when Prabhupada is translating, he will forget the whole world. It will be like Radha Damodar temple, where he was in the past, he was sitting and translating. He will be there when he's started his translation work. And David Allen, who was staying with Prabhupada, in the loft, he recollected that he felt intense transcendental vibrations living with Prabhupada. Because even when he's sleeping, he would get transcendental dreams, one after the other, because Prabhupada will not be sleeping at that time also. Prabhupada will be sitting up and translating. He would be reading the scriptures and he would be chanting. So David Allen says, that was actually a very intense experience for me to stay with Prabhupada. And later on, David Allen was nicely developing. Prabhupada even wrote to his god brothers in India, I have this boy staying with me, 20-year-old, very tall, very handsome, very well behaved. Prabhupada was very happy with him. But what happened? He developed association with the drug addicts. And these drug addicts were experimenting with LSD, thinking it will expand your consciousness. All the teenagers in that time in America, they were experimenting with drugs, thinking drugs will give you spirituality. It will expand your consciousness. So you will lose your identity and you will be able to realize God like that. So David Allen was heavily into drugs. And because of that, on the one side, the powerful spiritual influence of Prabhupada. On the other side, the effect of drugs. He almost went mad. So this we will see in the coming days. So whatever plan Prabhupada had for David Allen also was demolished. Nothing. He would become practically useless for Prabhupada. And so here in this Bauri, some people started coming. One is Carol Baker. She is a girl. She started coming to his class. She was a Catholic woman and she was instantly attracted by the simplicity of Prabhupada, by the poverty of the surroundings, by his dedication to God and his Guru, and his musical way of connecting with God. So Carol Baker started visiting regularly and she would always join for the Kirtan and she would feel very, very transcendental peace in the association of Prabhupada. She developed a close relationship with him also, like a daughter, because she was regularly coming. And another black man called Carl Jürgens, he was passing that side by accident one day and he saw saffron. The color struck him. And Prabhupada was trying to get into his building, tapping, 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 but they were not opening from inside. He was standing there. And so Carl went to help him. And when he went near to Prabhupada, he realized two bumps were lying on both sides of Prabhupada. One was unconscious, another was a dead body. So Carl Jürgens helped Prabhupada to somehow get into that building. And Prabhupada invited him to come to the loft. And Prabhupada gave him some transcendental teaching and kirtan. And Prabhupada said, you start coming for my kirtan. So Carl started regularly coming to kirtan and he enjoyed it. And in the evenings, they would have Bhagavad Gita plus kirtan. So one of the other visitors who came, he remarked about his experience. He said, outside the road was chaotic, full of noise, dust, smoke, and criminals, all these things. But you open the door and enter the loft and go to the fifth level, then it's a transcendental atmosphere. Very dull light is burning, very dim light is burning, and Prabhupada is burning some incense, and it is filled with people, respectful people, and Prabhupada is sitting on one side with his eyes almost closed, and he's playing on his karatal very gently. And all these people are also playing karatals in tune with him, and they're all singing the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada is singing and the audience is singing. All these musicians in great respect and reverence to Prabhupada, and they love the music what is being produced here. As it is, they believed that music is a way to connect with God. But Prabhupada told them, it is not simply like that. It is the holy name. That sound is what actually will connect you with God. So the singing of Mahamantra will help you to connect you to God. But whether they understood or not, they liked the music that Prabhupada has created. And they all came with their flutes, with their bongo drums, with their cymbals, whatever instruments they were having. Some of them brought guitars and they would all play with Srila Prabhupada. And this was such an amazing experience for everyone. They all started coming regularly. Even though these people were not serious with the guru-disciple relationship, they were coming for music. But Prabhupada allowed them. But he was actually looking for a serious guru-disciple relationship. So at this time, one really serious newcomer came. His name is Michael Grant. Now here is one name which is even today famous in the circles of ISKCON. He is the one who really started another phase of Srila Prabhupada's life, his preaching activities. Michael Grant. Today he is known as Mukunda Maharaj in ISKCON. He is a sannyasi, Mukunda Maharaj. At that time he was Michael Grant, 24 years old, Jewish background. He was also a musician He was also a teacher of music, and he was also living in another loft along with his girlfriend, some distance away. And he, after hearing from others, he came to see Srila Prabhupada. He was already familiar with some of the Swamijis, so when he saw Prabhupada, it was not like a completely new experience. He had already seen many Swamijis from India, and he respected all of them. But all of them were teaching only Mayavad philosophy, but still he respected them. Now, for the first time, he saw someone speaking Bhakti philosophy, and he was very much attracted, and he started regularly coming to these classes. So, this brings us to the end of today's session. Next week onwards, we will see how Michael Grant played an important role in further developments of ISKCON. He is one of the founder members of ISKCON also. So all those details we will see next week. Thank you very much. So now we can have a little time for discussions, question answers. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, about the sacred thread Srila Prabhupada mentions, right? It is a sign that a person has a spiritual master.
Yeah.
But what about the Harinam initiation, Prabhuji?
Yeah, you see, here also, the sacred thread is given only at the second initiation stage, what we call the Brahman initiation. And Brahman initiation time is when, you get your Gayatri mantra, and then you develop your eligibility to worship the deities, and along with that only sacred thread is given. So second initiation basically qualifies you to perform deity worship. Some Pancharatri mantras are given. Those mantras give you the qualification to worship deities. So ISKCON means you have deities in the temples. You need people to worship those deities. For those purposes, the minimum qualification is Pancharatra initiation. With those mantras, you get that necessary qualification. And also, the other reason is India is a very conservative country. So in India, if Prabhupada will say simply anyone can worship the deities with or without a sacred thread, with or without Pancharatric initiation, it will create a huge resistance for the movement itself. So partly conventions are integrated with the initiation process. But as far as chanting of Harinam is concerned, it has no restriction. Anyone can start chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But if you also take it from a guru who will give you the beads and he will give you the mantra, and you take the vows in front of him that I will follow the 4 regulative principles sincerely for the rest of my life, I will chant the prescribed number of rounds on these beads for the rest of my life, every day attentively, and I will serve the mission submissively, life after life, to the best of my ability. So once you make these commitments, your chanting becomes more nice. It becomes committed. Otherwise, all of us have a tendency to fluctuate. One day more rounds, one day less rounds, one day 0 rounds, one day 64 rounds. All these things happen. There is no commitment. Commitment is a basic requirement of spiritual progress. So that way, the Harinam Diksha is the first initiation, where the Guru gives you a spiritual name also, and the Guru accepts you as the disciple. But that initiation is the level of first initiation only. It is a second initiation which is considered as a complete surrender and acceptance of the spiritual master, which is marked by wearing the sacred thread. But it is made very clear that for chanting the holy name itself, anyone can. Just by chanting the holy name sincerely, attentively, one can go back home, back to Godhead. But to have a spiritual master, it helps you to, to regulate your lifestyle, to become sincere in your practice, to absorb the vibrations from him, and it removes the obstacles on your spiritual path. So as it is for the process of bhakti, Rupa Goswami says, the first qualifications are to look for a spiritual master, to attain him, and to take initiation from him and serve him. These are the early steps of bhakti. Without a spiritual master, bhakti does not start. So that is the importance of having spiritual master. So here Prabhupada is referring to the convention in India. Especially in Brahmin families, when the boy is 7, 8, 9 years old, he gets Gayatri mantra. This is called Brahma Gayatri. That is given by the father himself. There is a priest mediating, but it is the father who gives the Gayatri to his son. So that way, father himself becomes a spiritual master for the son. This is the conventional, Upanayanam ceremony in India. It is one of the major samskaras. And after this is done, then the father will direct the boy to go to a Gurukul and serve under a spiritual master. And he will serve there for about 15, 20 years. And then he will, if he wants to take up family life, he will get married and settle into Grihastha, or he will directly go to sannyas. So that is the system. So as far as we in ISKCON is concerned, we have no problem about this. We can go on chanting even though we have not been initiated. The holy name will have its power. But if you also take a guru, then it becomes all the more powerful. And second initiation is very specifically for deity worship. Is it okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. So what I understand is the first initiation itself can, by Krishna's mercy and Guru's mercy, is it possible to take us back to Godhead, Prabhuji?
Yeah. See, basically, Mataji, going back to Godhead is the ultimate destination for the soul. But once we are on the right path, then we don't question this, that when I will go back home. Whether we go in this lifetime or we go in several lifetimes, we leave it in the hands of the Guru and Krishna. Our business is to simply accept the instructions and sincerely with faith we follow. Then our life will be orchestrated by Guru and Krishna. What should happen will happen. They will take care of our life. We are protected. Like Prabhupada will give the example of a street dog and a dog with a master. A street dog has no master. It's called anatha. It has no master. Natha means master. Anatha has no master. And the dog's life is very miserable. But when a dog has a natha, it is at a dog collar and has an owner, then the dog becomes very proud. The dog is properly looked after, maintained, and loved and cared for. So same way, once we accept a spiritual master and we serve under him sincerely, we really don't have to entertain any of these anxieties. Because why I'm saying this is, see, we all have our conditionings, and at what rate we will shed them depends on how sincerely we take to the practice. If you take two people who came to the practice at the same time, but still you won't see them progressing at the same pace. So it's a reciprocation to our own sincerity, what we experience in our life. How deeply we have faith and how deeply we act on our faith, that will decide how we make progress. But Prabhupada said, that's why Prabhupada said, look, a raw mango and a ripe mango, the only thing is the raw mango should stay connected to the tree, and it is just a matter of time. The raw mango will become a ripened, sweetened mango. Same way, we have to stay connected to the devotees, we should stay connected to the mission, we should stay connected to the process. Then this is guaranteed. How does it matter? Your life starts getting better and better and better. Your karmas are destroyed, and your life is personally taken over in the hands of Krishna. So we really don't have to have that anxiety, whether we will go back in one lifetime or many lifetimes. Even if we take a second initiation, whether you will go in one lifetime or not, this is all left in the hands of Krishna. And Prabhupada says, the Guru has to come back. If the disciple falls down, the Guru has to come back. And as long as the disciple remains here, the Guru will be here. So Prabhupada says it's a very serious commitment the disciple and the Guru make to each other. But same thing, the disciple also has to have seriousness. If he falls down, it is an accidental fall down. Then he is protected. But deliberately, after taking initiation, if I am going to flout all the instructions that have been given to me, then the Guru is under no obligation. That relationship becomes null and void. Yes, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. It's clear, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
So it's a matter of internalizing and putting into practice what we have learned. After that, there really is no worry. Like, Prabhupada gives the example of him traveling with his son in the train, the TTE came and everybody was showing their tickets. And he playfully asked the son also, hey, where is your ticket? Then immediately Prabhupada's son, the Vrindavan Chandra, he turned to his father and he showed a finger, TTE, my father. So that boy was very relaxed. He had no anxiety because my father will take care. So Prabhupada says, this is what you get by having a guru and, having faith in that guru. Sincerely, if you follow, then you are completely protected at all times. Hare Krishna. Is there anything
Thank
else?
you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. So thank you very much. We will meet again. I have a plan of going to Mayapur. I am hoping that in the whole of March, I'll be there. So in that case, we may not be able to have our classes during that period. So we may meet again in April only, first week. So wish you all best progress in your spiritual life. Please stay committed to whatever commitments you have made and try to do as much as you can. Try to progress further and further. Read, hear, chant, everything you do attentively with greater feeling of gratitude and humility, that we really cannot demand anything, in our situation. We have fallen, and we have fallen in the worst possible way because we have taken birth in Kali Yuga. So in a mood of complete surrender and gratitude, let us continue our process. And Guru and Krishna are most compassionate. You cannot find a person more compassionate than Guru and Krishna, Mahaprabhu. So we are in the right place. We are well protected. Prabhupada says, ISKCON is my body. Please remain in ISKCON. That's what Prabhupada said. So we remain there. We continue our practices. We take the association of devotees and we don't commit aparats. Then we are absolutely safe. And let us try to serve the mission by giving this knowledge to others in a very humble mood. Let us try to share it with others also. So that's all. So I look forward to seeing all of you again when I come back. Or if I don't go, our sessions will continue. Please look for the messages in the group. Thank you very much.
Hare
Have
Krishna,
a wonderful
Prabhuji.
yatra,
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, even if
Please
you
pray.
go to Mayapur, I'm sorry, Mataji. Okay.
Yes,
Even if
you
you go to
continue.
Mayapur, please keep in touch, Prabhuji, through voice message, not only pictures, because you said right now, progress in your spiritual path and chant and read and all that. For all those things, Prabhuji, your voice, whatever you message about, but that will be like a reminder for us, Prabhuji. Hey, I'm doing it. You need not ask, hey, are you doing it? Just your voice message is enough to set us thinking, oh, are we doing it? Are we doing better more and more? So at least please keep in touch with us
Sure,
through
Mati.
some messages, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, it is my responsibility too. I will definitely stay connected with all of you through the groups. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank
Have
you.
a wonderful yatra, Prabhuji. Please pray for us and